Hey, and welcome to day 2 of Learning Golang, the journal, with me, Matt. If you're just seeing this as the first video in my Learning Golang series, what I do is each and every day I spend half an hour learning Golang, something about it, or Golang. I'm going to figure out what the right term is to use, and I'm just going to stick with that and not swap the terms around. And I sit down at some point in the day, usually first thing in the day, after all the household stuff's done, and have a hard half hour with my Pomodoro timer set for 30 minutes to keep me honest. Then after that, I then set some time aside. Usually I'm trying to get better and better at this, at putting it also on a hard half an hour timer to write about the session that was, what I learned, the good, the bad, the ugly, what I got stuck with, what I might have overcome, and so forth. If you are also learning Go, I'd love to have you on this journey with me, or be on your journey, or share the journey together. Anyway, that intro errata out of the way. Today, or I should say this is a recount of day 2, because I'm doing this on day 3. It was a slightly slower day than day 1 was, because admittedly I stayed up too late doing various things, got up too early so didn't have enough sleep, so it was hard to focus. But on the specifics of what was covered, today I got into learning, or sort of picking up learning, about flow control statements, as well as the really, I'll say, interesting defer, panic, and recover statements. I'll have links to all of that in the show notes. Now, the thing that perhaps really grabbed me most today was the fact that Go has only one looping construct, that being the for loop. That was a little bit kind of weird at first, because I'm used to, what would it be, there's, I think in most of the C languages, there's for, while, do while, and so forth. But what I found interesting, and it seems to be a pattern flowing through Go, is that while, like, there's like a less is more principle. Like, they'll give you kind of one of something, but how you can use it and maybe optional components of it, it actually, what would you say, can masquerade as many other things. That's a little vague, a little obtuse, but what I mean by that in this case is that while there is one looping construct, as I said, the for loop, because of some of the components of it are optional, it can function as sort of several different looping constructs, such as your while loop as well, in languages such as C, Java, and my most used language, PHP. Now, the other thing that stood out for me was the break statement isn't required in switch statements. I like the idea of it. I guess there's something less to think about, less to perhaps stumble over and make a mistake about. You know, for example, if in other languages, if you don't if you don't use the break statement, multiple switch case statements will be executed. In Go, it isn't. I guess it's perhaps neater. Perhaps it's a nice refinement. I think this will take me a little bit of getting used to, because I'm kind of used to mainly in PHP, a little bit in Java, of how you can have sort of multiple conditions, what would you say, stacked one after another to say, to kind of mimic if this or this or this or this. But I guess it's, like with everything new, it takes a little bit of time to kind of get used to the lay of the land and the quirks. So I don't see it as a big thing, just something new to kind of become accustomed to when working with Go. Now, the third thing, again, that really grabbed my attention today was defer, panic, and recover. In this case, unlike the lack of requirement of a break statement and the for loop, these didn't necessarily grab me in a totally positive way. Well, defer did, because if you're not familiar and hearing this for the first time, with a defer, you can set up a function call to occur later or at the end of a function after all of the other statements have been executed. For example, or the example used in the Go tour was when you open a file handle, you can ensure with the defer statement that it will always be closed later so that your code will clean up after itself. That's kind of cool. The panic and recover seem a little sort of strange to me. It kind of feels a bit weird, like why don't you have maybe try catch block or exceptions? I'm not going to sort of, what would it be, sort of ad lib or kind of freewheel too much on this, mainly because I'm sort of still reading about them and trying to kind of appreciate perhaps why the language authors chose them versus try catch and exceptions. And just to say that it just feels at this point strange. But defer though, that is something that I really do like. That seems like a funky smart thing to do. Kind of, what would you say, it gets you to, well, one ensures that, as I said, the code cleans up after itself, no matter what happens if the code sort of panics or breaks. But also to kind of think about that, to keep that in mind. So anyway, I'm going to link to some interesting articles that I found that explain some of these concepts in the description for this video. If you are learning Go, if you're new to it like me, please let me know in the comments or tweet me at WebDevWithMatt. I'd like to know that I am one of many people on this learning Go journey. Maybe we can help each other. If you're a more sophisticated, seasoned developer, please share your links for the best ways to learn Go, resources, people to follow, and so forth. And as always, if you like the video, please give me a thumbs up. It'd be great if you could subscribe to the channel and turn on the bell notification icon, all those good things, so that I know that you are interested in this series, in content like this. Always helps for encouraging me to make more content like this and to keep it going, because I have a big hairy goal of getting to at least day 1. I can't do it with my hands here. Day 100. Anyway, I'll see you tomorrow for the next Learning Golang journal with me.